So there's a logical fallacy out there called the appeal to authority fallacy. The appeal to authority fallacy, a bunch of you are guilty of this, some of you even use it in your own lives, is that you should accept and believe anything said by a person just because of their status. So just because a doctor said something that has something to do with health, you should believe it just because a doctor said it. Or someone who's not a doctor says something, you should question them just because they're not a doctor. Or you should not listen to them because they're not a doctor. Give you an example. I was talking to a friend of mine a few months ago, and we both had children who are around the same age, relatively young. He was like, I'm about to take my kid to get some shots from the doctor, the V word that I'm not going to say. And our kids are about the same age. So he said to me, Dre, have you taken your kid to get shots from the doctor? And I said, no, my kid is not getting any shots from any doctor. He said, why not? And I said, well, the general answer I gave, this is not the whole answer, but the general answer I gave was, why does a kid even need those things? And that I generally do not trust the medical system as a whole. I generally do not. I'm generally not a big fan of the medical system. And if my kid doesn't need them, then they're not going to get them. And there's a whole lot of details and research and books that you can read on this stuff. I'm not going into this. This is not the topic here today, so don't try to argue with me on this. I already talked about this. And the long and short of the conversation was, this guy who has a kid the same age as my kid said to me, well, Dre, I'm not a doctor. You're not a doctor. Why would you not listen to what the doctor says? And I just had to laugh at the fact that he even said that. That's the appeal to authority. That right there. I'm not a doctor, you're not a doctor. So if a doctor says it and it has to do with health, then I might as well just do whatever the doctor says. Bullshit. That's the appeal to authority. Same thing when it comes to a school teacher. If I say something about the educational system, somebody will say, well, Dre, are you a college professor? I say, no, I'm not. And they say, well, who are you to talk about the educational system?